and ask for a motion to approve the minutes. Okay. All right. No Collins. I checked on that before we started. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have 3 informational items, and the first is PCAPs.
All right, so you have in front of you my monthly department report. I just wanted to point out one line item that I've added on there, which is live release rate at the bottom of the animal outcomes. The live release rate is strictly a percentage of animals that had a live outcome after coming into the shelter, after being taken into our care. So just something of interesting, kind of speaks to our progress the last year. We've had about an 8% increase year on year from 2020, so pretty proud of that.
That's great.
Excuse me. Becky, would you reiterate that again, what you explained there?
Yes, absolutely. So live release rate, I've added to the bottom of the animal outcome report, and that is a percentage of animals that have left the shelter with a live outcome.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, are there any questions or comments, Mr. Ricker?
I guess, Becky, could you give us an update on some of the improvements? I think you had a grant for the felines area and such. Maybe just give us an update on what's been done and the progress.
Sure, absolutely. So the feline housing improvement grant was from a private donor last year. That was an improvement of our intake areas for the cats. So through that project, we portalized our cat housing areas, which means we put a portal between every 2 kennels so that 2 kennels become 1. Based on the studies and the research in our industry, we're finding that if cats have about a 3 foot of space between their resting space and their litter box, that they tend to be less stressed and therefore have less respiratory disease and just any kind of illness in the shelter. So we've had quite a good outcome with that. We've seen most noticeably in the amount of cats that were transferred out of our facility in 2021, thanks to that program. When we're looking at other shelters to take cats from us, they typically only want to take the healthy cats. So because in 2021 our population was more healthy, we were able to transfer more cats to other agencies. And so that's been a great program for us.
Are there any other questions or comments? All right, thank you. Now we have the workforce report.
Thanks, Madam Chair. You'll find that on page 7 in your packets. It covers the activity through the end of December, so it will give you an entire calendar year 2021 versus 2020. Look at the data. The top third shows applications and hires. Just as a reminder, as I say every month, this is really for those that may be watching on the live stream. New hires in the month of December do not always represent applicants or postings that were made in the month of December, as it sometimes takes more than a month to go through the hiring process. But you can see in December of last year, we had positions in the Sheriff's Office, the JDC, IT services, and circuit clerk were filled. Middle third of the page looks at the current demographics of our workforce, and the bottom third of the page looks at separations. The most notable in December of 21 would have been there were 4 separations from both the Sheriff's Office and from JDC. Happy to try and answer any questions. Okay, that's on the next page in your packets. Top half of the page looks at liability claims. You can see that this is again through the end of December. We had a total of 12 liability claims filed in the year of 21. We have 3 of those open to date. In terms of cost, the pay to date for 2021 was just a shade under $37,500. Bottom half of the page is workers' compensation. Again, will be data for the entire calendar year of 21. We had a total of 52 claims filed. 12 of those were still active at the end of December. Paid out to date in 2021, just a shade under 148,000, and we've got just a shade under $260,000 in the reserve remaining. So happy to answer any questions on that report as well.
Just for clarification on the reserve, I guess when you say it's a shade under 260,000 for the work comp, that's for the 2021 reserve, but you have reserve for the prior years that are still there too, correct?
Yes, that's correct. In fact, 2018 has a little under 37,000 in reserve remaining. 2019 has about 117,500 remaining, and 2020 has a little over 108,000 remaining.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, then moving on to our resolutions. Becky, the first resolution, which is yet another grant you're going to be awarded. Well, yes, I do want a motion. Steve? Oh, I said yes, I would like a motion. Okay, Betty and Steve, thank you.
Okay, so this was a $5,000 award from Independent Trust. I had solicited the grant as a 3-year grant, $5,000 each year, asking to support our microchip program. And this program allows us to microchip animals in our community as a means of lost and found prevention. So when an animal is picked up by animal control in the future, we would be able to scan that microchip and get them home right away and prevent them from becoming an intake in the shelter. They did respond with a $5,000 award for this year, and depending on our progress and the updates that I give them along the way, may potentially support years to come as well.
Okay. Are there questions? Betty?
Yeah, where would a person go to microchip their animal?
Absolutely. So anyone can come down to PCAPS, 2600 Northeast Peoria Avenue, and we are there 8 to 5 Monday through Saturday. It's a walk-in service, and you just bring a photo ID and you walk in with your pet, and we'll do the microchip right on the spot.
Other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is also PCAPS. Do I have a motion? This is for the animal control contract with the Village of Princeville. Member Duncan? Member Watkins, thank you. Becky?
All right, so back at the end of last year, the folks at Princeville elected to have a meeting with me to talk about their contract renewal. They took a shorter agreement than everyone else back when we were doing contracts. They wanted to reduce their service to an impound-only agreement. This is pretty standard with the history of Princeville, that they've been on again, off again with us. So at this time, they are asking for a impound-only agreement, which, just to be clear, means that Princeville would have to deliver the animals to the shelter, and we would shelter the animals and take on their care from there. So we no longer would provide impound services by having our officers ride around in the field in Princeville. We would only impound the animals if they're delivered to us at the shelter.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we are to miscellaneous, and I ask Shauna if she would pass out. As you know, Shauna and Angela have been working hard on the format and of sending a letter to our employees that explains their benefits. So, Shauna, do you have anything more to add?
Sorry, I snagged my sweater. I had a little bit of a difficulty there. Okay, so this is the final version of the letter that Angela and I had worked with Linda. We had talked about this just real briefly over the last couple months. Our intention is to send this out to employees in early February once we are done with W-2s and some of the end-of-year wrap-up with the payroll and finance department. So basically, this is a letter that would go to all employees that would break down the county's direct benefit provisions for those employees. So it would include any of their wages, including overtime. It would also include their the county's contribution towards the employee health premium. It would include IMRF contributions and then the FICA Medi contributions. So again, this is for the direct costs. At some point in future years with the new system, if we have the ability to also include indirect costs, we have on the back burner to take a look at that with the new system. But for now, this year, we're mainly focusing on those direct costs. And this is just a way to help employees understand the total value of their benefit package, because I think sometimes there's some confusion or misinformation out there, and so this is hopefully help them understand a little bit about our benefits. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has them. And we really appreciate Linda's work on this and her direction as well, so thank you for that.
And Chairman Renaud and I wanted the committee to have a copy of this, so if you take it and review it at your leisure, and then by tomorrow get back to either Shauna, Scott, Chairman Renaud, or myself, then if you have comments, we certainly can make some alterations. But Shauna and Angela, I think, did a very nice job on this. Very nice.
I have
Okay.
a question.
Betty?
Yeah, to Shauna. Now, this letter would be distributed annually or monthly or what?
It is our intent to do this annually, so this particular letter will cover all of their wages and benefits for the previous year, 2021, and then we would do the same in future year, each year. Yes. Yep.
Okay. If there are no further comments, then is there any more miscellaneous? Yes, Kate?
I just wanted to say thank you for getting this done. I think it is helpful. As an employee, I've had this kind of statement in the past, and I always thought it was beneficial to see what is my all-in benefit, because I've had jobs with drastically different benefit packages. And so it's nice to see it all in one place. So I think this will be good for our employees to see and appreciate how much they're all in it really is. So thank you for getting this done.
Welcome. Any other comments? Is there any other miscellaneous to come before the Operations Committee? Then we're adjourned.